Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am your host, John Rothman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps to expand our base, lets other people know about this podcast, and, well, to be honest with you, keeps us going. Let me now address the question of James Comey and the indictment. And I begin not the way most of the media is beginning, but rather on a different track. My simple question is this: if Donald Trump had not insisted that James Comey be indicted, would there have been an indictment? And the answer is no. Even professional people in his own Justice Department walked away. This was a demand by the President of the United States that James Comey, the former director of the FBI, who Donald Trump views, well, you've heard his language, the terms used to describe James Comey, unbelievable. That's the reason he's been indicted. Will he be found innocent or guilty? I don't know. I have no idea. I'll tell you what bothers me. It is not James Comey's actions or inactions that bother me. It is Donald Trump's. The President of the United States has identified individuals as enemies, people he wants revenge. I've told you the story before about a very good friend of mine who assured me that when Trump won, there would be no talk of revenge, no talk of retribution, that Donald Trump would rise to the occasion of being President of the United States. What we have seen is just the opposite. What we have seen is a president who has said not only is he going after James Comey, but he's going after a member of the United States Senate. That's right, Adam Schiff. He doesn't even call him Senator Schiff. He calls him Shifty Schiff. It is so Trump, and frankly, so despicable. And there are, of course, others who he mentions in this attempt to get his enemies. And what we face now is a president of the United States who is bent on revenge and who has stacked the Justice Department with people who will do his bidding. The person he had put in charge of this particular issue left, couldn't do it, wouldn't do it. And then he had to replace that individual with someone who would do whatever Donald Trump asked. That's not American justice. That is revenge. I tried to think to myself, what would the Republicans have said if Joe Biden or Barack Obama had pulled this kind of stunt? There would have been resolutions on the floor of the Senate and the House condemning those actions, and indeed, if the votes could have been mustered, an impeachment vote. This, to me, is one of the most disturbing moments in our history. It is a president abusing his power blatantly, without any hesitation. And the response of the Republicans is basically to excuse what he's done. And the response of the Democrats, rhetorically, they may be critical, but they are impotent. They don't have the votes to do a darn thing. I point this out because that's what this is all about. The President of the United States abusing his power. Now, the minute I thought about the term abusing power, I had to reflect on the fact that when presidents in the past, and Richard Nixon comes to mind, abuse their power, there is an immediate blowback by individuals in Congress who are upset and who introduce appropriate resolutions on the floor of the House and Senate. The deafening silence that I hear now may be due to political impotence, but it may also be because people just don't have the will to fight back. And that's what a bully insists upon. The fact that they break the spirit of the opposition, that the opposition is not able to muster the energy, the courage, the votes to hit back. But that's not all. The Deputy White House Chief of Staff is Stephen Miller. That's a very powerful position, and he is very close to Donald Trump, as we all know. He now has taken the stand that Democrats are terrorists. He doesn't call it by its proper name, the Democratic Party. He calls it the Democrat Party. And he talks about Democrat Extremists Organization, meaning the Democratic Party itself. And there is a deafening silence, even from Republicans who know better. To attack one of America's major political parties as an extremist organization that abets terrorism is appalling. And the fact that Stephen Miller remains in the White House as the Deputy Chief of Staff is, to me, a great blow to who we are as a nation. There are political leaders with whom I have disagreed, and I have no problem speaking out forcefully about it. But to accuse all Democrats of being extremists? Ladies and gentlemen, I was once a Republican. I was unhappy as a Republican because I saw the rise of extremism in the Republican Party. And I became a Democrat. To be honest with you, I don't see extremism by the Democratic Party. Not at all. This is something that we as a nation will have to wrestle with. A president of the United States who uses the power of his office in what I view as really an abuse of power. And the silence when a man in power in the White House, Stephen Miller, makes the outrageous statement that the Democratic Party is made up of extremists. There is something very wrong in the American body politic. And they say that it comes from the top. And in this case, all you have to do is listen to Donald Trump's rhetoric to know that that is true. The battle is on for American democracy. Let us hope that when James Comey asks for a trial, where he believes with perfect faith that he will be acquitted of all the charges, 2 of them, that's all there are, that may be the vindication of the American system. I've remarked in the past that Donald Trump will be brought down by his own hubris. Frankly, if these events, these comments, don't bring him down in terms of history and his own political party, we as a nation will pay the price. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am John Rothman. Make sure to follow along and let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you want, and of course sharing the episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow and expand, which is, of course, our goal. You can interact with me on Facebook, on Instagram. Yes, indeed, you can even email me directly, as many of you do. I'll be back on Monday, but not before I say a big thank you to Gogo Ziegler, the wonderful producer of this program. Gogo Ziegler does such a great job every single day. And, well, I'm grateful to her. And as for us, we'll be following the events all the way until Monday morning. And then, my friends, we'll see where we are in the world, and most importantly, from my point of view, on Around the Political World with John Rothman. Have a great weekend. See you then.